I don't see anything.
Oh, whose car is that?
Mine.
Oh, there it is.
What?
No, I'm playing. I didn't get that.
I wanted to say, I don't think you got a Tycon. I hate sounding like this because I sound like a total nerd or know-it-all. But I told you so!
I told you so too. iPadOS has been designated as a gatekeeper by the European Union.
I mean, no! Of course it is!
You should apply for the president of the USA.
I'd have to wait until I was turned 35.
Oh no. What about the president of the EU?
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the iTunes Fanboy Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Macker from the iTunes Fanboy.
I'm Tabby Cat from Tabby Bears.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf.
And as always, we were back with another new episode. And so without further ado, let's just get into our first topic, which is Tabby's Mac issues.
Yeah, so I've been looking into... Let me get this microphone a little closer. I've been looking into the new M3 MacBook Pros. Not because I wanted to upgrade, but because my MacBook Pro, I'm pretty sure the water damage indicators are tripped. I haven't looked because I don't know where they are, but I'm pretty sure they're tripped. And the keys just keep disintegrating. Don't know why. Have no idea. Never happened to me on a computer before. And the backlight, the keyboard backlight at this point is pretty messed up. And the trackpad is still... Not sure if I mentioned this in my original video. There's a lot that I didn't go over. But the trackpad is still really messed up. It is... I
forgot about that.
Well, I'm pretty certain it's a board level issue, actually. Because the Taptic engine is modular, and replacing that doesn't do anything. So it's just so messed up. So I've been looking into getting the keys replaced, because Elias knows how to replace the keys pretty easily on those, and then just going and trading it in. And Apple refurbished computers are a steal. You can get them for $350, $400 off of the original price. And from what I can tell, they're just basically a new MacBook Pro without the new box.
That's essentially it. I mean, when you look at what Apple claims they do in their refurbishing process, to me, that's the same thing as buying a new computer, but, well, different box. Cause,
they should call it remanufactured.
Yeah, I'd say that'd probably be a better description, because their level of refurbishment is to such a higher degree than I've ever seen anybody else do.
Yeah, I've heard great things about Apple Refurbish, and I've always wanted to give some sort of device there a try. I was thinking an iPad Mini 6, but then I just ended up getting the same price on a brand new one, so I just got the new one. But honestly, I think MacBook Pro might be the way to go, because it'll give me a higher spec for less than the base model M3 Pro. There's no way I am ever buying another 512 gigabyte Mac. Worst decision I made.
Oh yeah, I could never either, because I'm constantly filling up my terabyte of storage.
I was even...
Yeah, I believe I have I believe I still have a... Let me actually look.
Yeah, I was even looking at 2 terabyte options.
Yeah, mine... Yeah, I have a terabyte on. Yeah, I got a terabyte.
I convinced you to go for the terabyte. So...
Yeah, you did.
I think it was a good move.
Libraries. Final Cut libraries take up so much storage, it's insane.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working on multiple timelines.
I didn't even wind up using it because, as I discovered, Final Cut Pro, I tried out the trial version, it was great. However, I discovered a major problem. My trial's expired, and I've gone into this in another episode, I'm pretty sure, but because they don't let you get the student discount unless you're a college student anymore, I was never a college student anyway, and I also, what am I trying? Basically, I have to pay $300, and I can't re-download trial version again for free. So basically, I have to pay $300 for the full version, and I'm not paying $300 for a video editor.
I mean,
Especially
maybe
given how I edit my.
if you start doing more intricate edits, maybe. But for your
Yeah,
style of
but
videos,
I don't.
I would just recommend, honestly, probably something like DaVinci Resolve.
I use iMovie for
Even
my
though-
videos right now, and it works fine. It works fine, but
DaVinci Resolve would be pretty good for you, I'd say, because I think there's a free version available.
There,
Correct me
yeah,
if I'm
there
wrong, I
is.
think
In
there's
There
a
fact,
version
is.
available.
I initially, before I set my XPS for work, I wanted to do a video editing challenge on Windows, and I was going to use DaVinci Resolve. Sadly, I got it set up for work too soon, and now I can't use that because I'm not supposed to use that for YouTube stuff. So,
Oh,
yeah, I was going to use DaVinci Resolve, and honestly, from my initial impressions of using it, it borrows a lot of similar keyboard shortcuts from iMovie and Final Cut. And
you can select the keyword shortcuts. You can select if you're coming from Final Cut or Premiere.
yeah, so
Vegas.
it's easy to get familiar with the software. That and despite that it's only the free version, it's pretty darn capable. So
Yeah.
to me, that is totally something to look into. And I mean, I was initially looking into that before I got the whole pro suite of apps, but the only reason why I ended up going with Final Cut anyways was because I was also going to get Logic and other professional Apple apps that I still use. So,
Yeah, and honestly, you use a Mac. Why would you use anything else?
yeah, precisely.
Unless you're coming from something else. It's so well built into the Apple ecosystem at this point. I've been using Final Cut for 7 years, almost 8 years at the end of this year. I've been a very big fan of Final Cut.
Yeah, because I've tried a couple years ago.
2016 is 8 years ago.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I tried a couple of years ago to use Adobe Premiere, but I can't begin to tell you how much I hate that software because a lot of it is so unintuitive to use. It makes you have to
It is.
like there's no
It's a very
keyboard shortcut you
large
can
learning
use
curve.
to quickly snap a clip. Nope, you have to go into a separate tool. And then when you delete a clip, no, it doesn't fill in the gap. It just leaves a complete blank space on the timeline.
You can delete the gap, I think, but it's less intuitive. The magnetic
Yeah.
timeline on iMovie and Final Cut is just great.
Yeah, a lot of Premiere users
Yeah.
hate Final Cut for that reason, but that's because they're not used to the magnetic timeline part. But I've heard for those who switch
When you
from
get used
Premiere
to it,
yeah, once you get used to it, you're like, this makes perfect sense because literally it's so
makes
inconvenient
more
to have
sense,
that
it's
empty
more
void of
user-friendly.
space. So
It's more user friendly.
yeah, it really is.
And the other thing about the magnetic timeline, it was controversial when it came out.
Yeah, that's what I
People
hear.
didn't like it when it came out. But
I personally
besides
loved it.
video editors, yeah, I have been having a much better experience with the Mac Studio lately. I'm waiting for the email back from Apple about the motherboard replacement. I'm on it right now. It's been pretty good. Besides 512 gigabytes of storage, which I have to have an SSD basically glued to it. But that's not a big thing since it's a desktop. But yeah, I've been enjoying it more lately, which is one of the reasons why I'm not
That's
trading
good.
this and the MacBook Pro in for a really high spec MacBook Pro. Even though I have thought about doing that, I don't think I will because I do want to keep a desktop around.
Yeah, I've always thought that your issues had come down to like a motherboard issue because of a lot of the behaviors you're describing. I keep thinking something was not put together properly in that processor and it's constantly screwing with you.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And,
mean, it literally died in, I believe, the season 3 premiere of this podcast.
Yeah, it was weird. Another thing I will say, they ran diagnostics on it. The only thing that it flagged was software, but the guy straight up said, it's wrong. If you're having issues after updating it, 3 major versions and all these security patches, it's probably just not up to date on the latest patch. Which I feel like the latest patch won't do anything if the last 17
Yeah.
patches haven't done anything.
Well, that and another
Whatever,
problem when it
however
comes
many.
to diagnostic tools, they are programmed to look for a specific set of problems, and corner cases like this, diagnostic tools are just not going to find that, and that's what I'm finding out with my car at the moment. So, yeah, it's a
wiring
problem.
harness still.
I don't even know if we now think it's the ECU of my car, the engine control module,
Yeah, that could
because
definitely could be an ECU.
we replaced the
So
grill
what kind of
shutters.
issues are you having?
Well, so on my car, I know this is off topic, but on my car, there are two different sets of grill shutters, which serve the purpose of better aero. These stupid reaction things.
Oh, that happened.
Yeah, I know. So they close for better aerodynamics and increased fuel economy, something that I really appreciate. And then when the engine needs more cooling or more airflow, they open up. The thing is, though, my check engine light is on because I'm getting faulty signals from the grill shutters or something. Either they're not responding to the ECU or whatever. But at this point, we have replaced...
Yeah, I actually remember you noted that in your reaction to the Stradman's video.
Yeah.
And you said your error code cleared, right?
Yep. Every now and then it
Did it
clears.
come back?
So it's on and off. Like, actually, just today, I went into work. The light was still on from like a few days ago. I then had to go to a wedding rehearsal, and the light mysteriously disappeared. I go back to work. The light's still off. I leave work. The light comes back on.
That just sounds screwed up.
Yeah, so I know something's wrong, and I've got it scheduled to go back on Monday for. I guess they're gonna tear. Oh my gosh, but I had the opportunity to see what my car looks like just completely torn apart. It is creepy because you look at the exterior; it's a beautiful, handsome design, and then you see it all torn apart, and it's like a mechanical mess of stuff. The most
Yeah, good
hideous
thing
thing
you're not
ever.
dealing with it though.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm not dealing. And I feel so bad for the dealership because I haven't paid a single penny for this, and they aren't charging me a single penny for this.
That's surprising.
You have to wonder, how much money are they losing on this?
Those dudes, if they're dealing with that type of stuff, they gotta be getting paid
Yeah,
good money.
I mean, dang, because I've even looked
manual
at...
labor, like being a mechanic. The dirtier you get your hands, the cleaner your money comes out. So
Because
they obviously have to make.
I'm
good
trying to
money.
figure out how that dealership makes money because they're selling their cars below MSRP. And at least throughout my whole repair process and throughout this whole warranty
And the
period,
rental car too.
yeah, they didn't even charge me for the loaner.
Yeah, that's
The only thing I had to
Really?
pay with in regards of the loaner was just I had to get gas. And then I had to spend my own time
Yeah.
detailing that thing because you saw that video. It was disgusting. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I am so shocked. I'm trying to figure out how they're
got leather
making
seats,
money
right?
because this whole repair process, they're like on the 8 ball and they're like all excited and ready to get into the car and start repairing it, despite that they know they're not going to make any money off of it.
I guess that's good for the dealership.
Yeah,
Good for you. Good dealership.
it's really good for
I'm
me.
guessing if it's good. I'm guessing they know that eventually that because if they satisfy their customers, that they'll get good. That they'll get goods that the customers will want to come back to the dealership, so therefore they make money. But
many
about something
miles
that
do you have
said
on it?
earlier, huh?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, what were you saying?
I was just asking how many miles are on it.
Miles I put on or total miles on the vehicle?
Both.
I put about darn near 11,000 miles on it at this point, and it's currently
Since
sitting
summer?
at around 59,000 miles.
Yeah, it's
Is
pretty
that for
low.
your personal car?
Huh?
Is that for Stardust?
Yeah, that's for Stardust. Red Fox has like 125
Ah.
on the odometer, and is currently sitting below me getting her transmission ripped out.
That's
Wow.
too bad.
Well, it's the rest of the car really pretty much is junk. The only positive thing that I liked
Yeah.
about the car was just the paint. It was so beautiful, but
It
the
was.
suspension's rotted, the body is rotted, and my parents have the exact same car I do, but that needs a new transmission, so that is exactly where it's going. So,
So Alpha said that he was going to a wedding rehearsal. Are you getting married?
no. No, I'm cantering for a
Aw.
wedding.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Yeah.
I made a tweet a couple
I wouldn't
days
think
ago
you'd get
about how
married
much I
that
missed
young.
my last girlfriend.
You
I
did?
saw that.
Yeah, Tabby saw it.
I don't get to see any tweets anymore. I don't get to see tweets of people that I follow anymore.
Why not?
I see following, but I there's a following tab, but I don't even see half the tweets from who I follow.
Huh. That's weird.
Hmm.
Like,
Check the group chat.
Let me see. Oh, it is so good to be on this phone again. Oh, you mean Discord?
No, on iMessage.
iMessage? I don't see anything.
oh, whose car is that?
Mine.
Oh, there it is.
What?
No, I'm playing. I didn't get that.
I wanted to say, I don't think you got a Tycon. Damn.
Yeah, but
Oh, that's
if I
beautiful.
could, I would get that. That is one of the few electric cars that I would trade any engine for.
Yeah.
I would trade V8 for that. That thing is awesome.
That is the ultimate driver's car for electric.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got sent that photo.
Nice.
But
All right. So
yeah, but
All right, so let's get back on
were we
to
saying?
our next topic, which is that now this is actually a twofer. So, number one, I am actually, in fact, when we would normally be recording next week. So, if the next episode excludes me, I apologize for that. I'm going to go demo an Apple Vision Pro. However, in other news, and I'll report back on what I think in the next episode after that. However, in other news, the Vision Pro the sales for the Apple Vision Pro are down, and not only that, but there's a lot of people who are scheduling demos for Apple Vision Pro at the Vision Pro and aren't even showing up.
wow.
I'm gonna.
Kinda sucks.
I hate sounding like this because I sound like a total nerd or know-it-all. But I told you so.
I told you so too.
I don't know why. I felt like that thing would take off. The
Uh,
price point is just way too high. Even if I had $3,500, I would rather put it into something else. I
yeah.
hate to say
Yeah,
it,
like-
I would rather put it into, giving, if I had the money for this thing, that would be after I buy a car. I would put it into, car mods. I would not pay $3,500.
I will put it towards
For-
the house savings or something.
I would too, honestly. Though, again,
Yeah,
part
it's
of me
just
kind of
not.
wants to buy Vision Pro anyway, just because I do love to collect Apple products, and if it's not selling well, then then Apple might discontinue them. You know what'll happen to the price of the Vision Pro once Apple discontinues it?
Oh, they'll skyrocket.
Didn't
Reminds
sell
me a
well.
lot of the Apple Newton, if you guys remember what that is.
Yep.
The
Oh, I
Apple
do.
Newton PDA.
Yep.
Like
Or
what
the
I
iPod
think.
Shuffle, like the last generation Shuffle. It got so low in price, but still nobody liked those. I had them. I had a few of those actually. They were like
I actually have two of
$40.
them. In fact, one of them is showing up in the box tower wall. Let me actually get.
But yeah, other than that, it sucks about your car, man. Hopefully that can get fixed. You gonna make a video on the whole
Yeah,
experience?
once the whole thing is officially complete and officially repaired, then yeah, I'm going to make a whole video on the thing. But I was going to do it literally the day after I picked the car up, except I went into work and the check engine light came back on. I'm like, well, we're scrapping that video for now.
Yeah. Yeah, your drive channel, I think that's my personal favorite of your channels. I've been watching a lot of those videos lately.
It's fun. It's
My personal favorite is your gadgets.
yeah. Yeah, I finally have a lot of topic ideas for the Gadgets channel, and a future topic that we'll be talking about is really putting a hamper for making videos on the Drive channel at the moment. But I mean,
Oh, really?
I've had fun reviewing those two cars, like the Blazer and the Terrain, the loaner that I got. That was fun, and I can't wait to do more
I
vehicles
watched,
like that.
I think I watched nearly the entire terrain video.
I
But then
did.
then I had to go do some stuff. I still have to finish that.
Mm.
But I definitely like your longer content. How long does it take you to edit that stuff? Because for me, it takes like 5 minutes to like 30 minutes to edit a minute of video, and those videos are like an hour long, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so I spent like um I did 5 hours on Friday night.
Wow.
So yeah, that took me to
Whoa.
like 2:33 in the morning. 5 hours Friday night, and then an additional I'll say about 3.5 hours on Saturday morning. So about
Wow.
eight
Even
nine
on my
hours.
own. Oh, even in my own editing style, I'd spend like at most 5 to 6 hours on that video. Because I hate to break it to you, Alpha, but you really need to get sleep.
Oh, you don't need to tell me
Really?
that. Oh, jeez.
I mean, I'm sleepy today too, but if you're spending that much time working on videos, then you need to maybe reconsider how you make videos.
But the content's good, isn't
instead.
it?
It's good.
It is.
It's good content, but maybe you should just slow it down, and take it easy.
Well, maybe
Go
if I
at a
was
reasonable time.
monetized, then I actually have the actual time throughout the day to actually edit these, because then I can
meant
support
just work
myself
until,
without
like,
my day job.
I mean, just
You
work
too.
until like like a reasonable time until like 10, and then just slowly do your work. Like just work at a
I've-
slower pace. That's what I
For
have to
the-
do. That's what I have to do because unfortunately somebody's legally required to go to school.
For
Well, I
the
can't
iPhone
legally drop
10s
out, but
video,
my mom won't let me. So
would you if you had the option?
nah, no, just dropping out of high school is just nah.
It's never
I
a
just
smart
don't have
idea to
much
do
of-
that. It's never a smart idea to drop
Yeah,
out of
I-
high school.
Also, if you drop out of high school in my state, you can't keep your driver's license.
That might be smart. But for the
Yeah.
access video, back in 2022, basically, I was staying up past what I should most nights, like past, because right now I go to bed 2 to 4. I was staying up way past that
Oh,
to edit that, and that was pretty much every night. And I was just doing research, editing, scripting, effects, speaking to people on it, and that video, it took so long to make.
It was a good one,
It
though.
was just crazy.
It was a very
It
good
was
one.
definitely well
was.
produced. Appreciate that. I want to make more well produced videos, but I don't really have as many topics as I would hope for.
Mhm.
Because those types of videos, they take a long time, but they are just so great to be able to upload and watch back later.
Because, yeah, a problem that I have is I know what I'm capable of in terms of producing videos, and I don't know if it's my ADHD mindset, but I feel like I can't do 90% of what I'm capable of. I have to do everything I am capable of to make a video. And the only time I usually stray from that is when it's breaking news and I'm trying to get it out ASAP. But when it comes to quality content or like a review, for example, be it of an upcoming review of, where the heck did I put
Something
it?
that's not time limited.
Yeah. Like the Pixel, I'm going to spend a lot of time editing and reviewing this, and I'm going to make a great quality video because, well, it's not news. This phone came out 2 years ago. It's old news. It's history. Who cares? But
Yeah. That's how I was with my Pixel video I took.
and that is exactly what I
Pixel
did with
video
my
actually
car
took me a
reviews
long
too.
time to edit.
So
Yeah. Lately, I've been kind of stretching the deadline for my videos, so there have been a few nights. My iPhone 5 on iOS 6 video, I was up from, I want to say, 11 p.m. to 3:30, just editing that just to get it out the next day.
Oh,
And
what on?
it's because
My
we
mom
care
think-
about
my
the
mom
quality.
already think. Yeah. My mom already thinks I go to bed way too late, and I go to bed at between 10:30 and 11.
I would not break that if I were you.
Yeah.
It's hard to get on a good sleep schedule once you...
Yeah, and once
Have
you
a bad one.
once you break it, you are completely ruined for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I don't.
Because
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I
I
can
just-
now go to bed early, and I sleep terribly. I wake up more exhausted from going to bed early.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good.
So
That's
yeah,
one of the
don't
reasons my MacBook was
don't
so
break your
valuable
sleep
to me.
schedule.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons the MacBook was so valuable to me, because I could take that wherever. With the
Mhm.
Mac Studio, I am confined to this desk, and with the MacBook Pro, I edit in the kitchen. I did a lot, up in my room. I even took the MacBook Pro like different places sometimes. But yeah. Besides that, who was at my front door? Oh, it's just the Ring camera glitching. But yeah, producing this stuff is not easy, but when the videos are like 1 out of 10 consistently, it is worth it. Right now, my latest video is 6 out of 10. I wasn't expecting this video to be a 1 out of 10 though, but my last video is 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10. Let's see. Windows 7 video, 3 out of 10. MacBook Pro video, 2 out of 10.
Oh,
iPad
dude, you
mini
make me
video,
miss Windows
9 out
so
of 10.
much.
Dude, I miss Windows 7. The last good version of Windows.
Yes, it really was.
Yeah, I miss Windows. I didn't ever think that Windows was that great to begin with, but I still love Windows 7. In fact,
It was
it's the
iconic.
version of Windows that I use the most when I do use it.
You know that Windows laptop, that Windows 7 laptop? That's my main Windows laptop. I still use
Same
it.
here with this.
Toshiba or Acer or whatever.
It's a Toshiba, yeah.
Yeah, Windows 7, definitely a topic that
Mhm.
I wanted to review again. I'm glad I took the time into that video.
Yeah, that
I
was
did three-
that was great.
I did 3 videos on Windows 7 in a row because my first 2 did very well. My third one didn't do my second one didn't do quite as well as the first one, and then my third one didn't do quite as well as the second one. So I didn't do one for 2024, although I guess I still could. Though I haven't done that yet because I just haven't felt, what am I trying to say?
Inspiration
I just
to
don't
do it.
see. Yeah, like I just don't. Yeah, like at this point, like Windows 7 is obsolete, so it's just kind of. And I've already looked back at some of the old features of Windows 7, so.
Yeah, and at this
I
point,
just
for
don't know.
example, I still technically use Windows 7 at where I work, but it's really only to use a few hardware peripherals, and that's pretty much it. I'm not using Windows 7 with the advantages of Windows 7. It's the only reason I'm using it is because I need access to this. It's a label maker. I need access to this label maker. And it only works with the Windows 7 computer.
Can't your office just buy a new label maker? Like, new label makers are not very expensive.
Yeah, except we've got other bills to worry about. So, if it's still
by not very expensive, I mean like they're like $50.
Is it like a label printer or a label maker?
It prints it onto these sticker labels we peel off. We use it to label our stock.
Oh.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, my mom has one that costs like $50. There's a wireless one that can cost like 65, 70. Like, they do not cost... If your office cannot spare that much money, then your office seems to have... Then your office is a financial problem.
I mean,
just so you know what else costs $50? A tool we use so much more frequently. 1/2-inch carbide end mills.
Yes, but you have to make sure... Yes, but if that's the only reason why you're using... If the label maker is holding you back in technology, then you need a new label maker.
Well, Teddy, I could say this.
It works.
Your wall of boxes would probably work better if there were shelves, but it works as it is now, so why buy shelves?
Actually, I'm considering buying shelves. Because I actually hate...
I could imagine that thing falling down.
Oh, don't worry. The box tower has fallen down plenty of times.
Dude, I can imagine all the boxes have these like wrinkles in the edges and all these like dents because it just
Oh, wait
down.
A second, do you...
You're probably
Oh,
like
wait
trying
a
to
second.
sleep.
Do you need evidence of boxes breaking? Because I have plenty.
I could imagine.
This is my best evidence. This is an AirPods box, and look what happened because it fell.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I could imagine like you sleeping and your cat messing with it, and it just like falls down. You're like, what the hell?
Or imagine he gets an earthquake right now.
Oh, dude.
Oh, don't.
I could imagine him just waking up and being like, God, not again.
Oh crap! I live.
Yeah, it reminded me of something hilarious I've seen. It happened on a live stream. You guys heard about the New Jersey earthquake?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
So, a show I watched, the Batteries Included podcast, one of the guys who hosts it lives in New Jersey. In fact, he actually lived right at the epicenter of that earthquake. And a thing about his garage, he reviews home EV charging equipment.
Oh, man.
Guess what came falling off the walls?
Did his
home
EV charging?
Oh, gosh. What was that again?
Did his EV charger fall off the wall, or was it just like a bunch of equipment?
He has a bunch of EV chargers that he hangs on the wall. They're older ones that he's reviewed in the past, but he keeps them around if he needs to bring them up again. So he's got a whole bunch that he's already reviewed just hanging on his wall. But they're not screwed in. They're hanging on, like, he's mounted them to a custom frame that he just hooks onto the wall. So when the earthquake hit...
Yeah.
That's like...
Oh.
The average cost of those things is like $500. He's got 20 to 30 of those on the wall.
Dude.
Oh, gosh.
500 times 30, that is 15. That's $15,000 worth, up to $15,000 worth of chargers falling off.
Yeah.
Gosh. Poor Tomalaki.
Yeah, I hope there's no I hope there's I don't live where there's earthquakes very often, so I'm pretty sure I'm safe, but still I like waking up to not seeing boxes fall down. fell down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the first thing I do in the morning when I wake up is literally just put the boxes back up that fell down overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho,
Or some
what were we talking about? Because we had gotten so far off topic.
We were talking about how the Vision Pro sales were down, but we've gone into that quite a lot. So
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
like
that we
we've
should
ran
go
the
into
Vision
our
Pro
next
into the ground.
topic.
We've run the Vision Pro into the ground on this
Yeah.
on this show.
I'll be checking
Which
it out
is-
in June, by the way.
Which is
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I have to figure out, do I want to go to Knoxville to check it out, or should I go to Charlotte?
if you
North
go to.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Do Charlotte.
Wouldn't it be quicker to go Winston Salem or Greensboro?
No, Charlotte's closer.
Ah.
That, and also there's a Tesla showroom in Charlotte.
Ah.
That, and there's also one in Knoxville too, actually. So that's why I keep debating: do I go to Knoxville or do I go to Charlotte? All right. Anywho, we've run this topic into the ground. What's next?
So this next topic involves two of Alpha's favorite things combined. So this might not seem relevant at first, but you know how
Is it
sodium
folding phones
is a
and the headphone jack?
no, no. You know how
'Cause those are
sodium
Alpha's
is a
two
flammable.
biggest things.
You know how sodium is a big toxic flammable metal, and how chlorine is also a big toxic gas. But then when you combine the two, they make table salt to combine something that is human bodies tolerate. Well, this is kind of similar because it combines two of Alpha's favorite things, being iPadOS and the EU, but it combines into something that I think Alpha might like.
I'm not too sure.
iPadOS has been designated as a gatekeeper by the European Union.
I mean, no. Of course it is.
What is wrong with the EU? They are idiots.
What is wrong with them? What's not wrong with them?
Yeah, you have a good point.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, so
hate
I mean, I'm not even too sure if like I keep listening to Drew. He thinks, oh, maybe this is a good thing that the EU is getting involved with iPadOS, because I don't know about you guys, but I think it's criminally bad.
It's not criminally bad, technically. Now,
It's not where it should be.
How come the EU? How come the EU? The EU needs to fix Windows before they fix iPadOS.
Yes, if we're talking about fixing broken products or broken platforms, Windows should be at their top priority.
They own 60. Well, at this point they only own 60% of the desktop market share, which operating system market share, which has declined from 90% back in 2009. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
And so at this point, yeah, I'm pretty sure, I am very positive that Windows should be at the top of their list if they're going to do anything. But anywho, but the core topic of why this is unethical is that we've gone into this in plenty of other episodes, so we won't waste so much time. But basically, governments really don't have much right to infringe on this stuff, but again, I'm not the EU, and the EU has shown again and again that they are stupid.
Honestly, I still don't know why Apple has not pulled out yet.
They're going to have to soon because because I remember a tweet back in late 2022 that said, back when it was called Twitter, is that three more laws and Apple's pulling out. This would have been the EU is way over 3 at this point. Apple needs to pull out of the European Union.
Yeah, they're being eaten at by piranhas at this point. Being bitten apart piece by piece by piece. And why isn't Tim Cook doing anything?
Apple's literally being spoiled, rotten to the core. Get it?
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of as to why they haven't done anything is because Tim Cook's planning on retiring, and it's not his problem anymore.
Yeah, but then this is the new guy who. Apple's new CEO is going to have a whole lot of problems then to deal with. Which, if you have so many problems to deal with at the same time as products, like that's not cool. It's not cool to put all your problems onto somebody else.
Well, they did it with Steve Jobs, and
That's
look what
life
he
101.
did.
Huh?
They did it with Steve Jobs, and look at what he did.
What do you mean, what did they do?
They had to ask Steve to come back because they've had so many problems. So they laid it all out on him, and look at what he did. So.
Oh, yeah. They had to literally have Steve Jobs come back to fix Apple because they almost went bankrupt. Steve Jobs isn't here to save Apple this time.
Yeah.
I wish he was.
Yeah, not gonna lie, because
Steve Jobs was...
this time we need his... We need him to say... We need his saying no towards staying conventional. And you get what I... We need Steve Jobs' aura in Tim Cook right now to say, no, we're not going to let you do this. We're not going to let you force us to make junk. We're not going to let you make us make bad products.
There's a need
Yeah,
for
Steve Jobs would have pulled out... Steve Jobs would have been so mad... Steve Jobs would have gotten so mad at the European Union. And if I was CEO of Apple, I would have literally marched into wherever the EU is based. I would have literally come in there armed and made them back off.
There's a need for Steve.
This time around.
Or there's not necessarily a need for Steve because Steve Jobs himself actually didn't like how after Walt Disney died, how all the executives at Disney made decisions based on what they thought Walt Disney would do, and so they almost went bankrupt. But the problem with so I don't think it necessarily needs to be a need for Steve, but we need just somebody who has a brain.
Yeah, there's a need for someone who's not stupid.
Yeah.
Good luck finding those type of people nowadays. I keep telling everyone,
People are
never underestimate the power of stupidity. He still has a fully functioning brain. He's just getting up there in years.
In some ways he does.
And
I don't agree with some of the stuff he
oh yeah, I don't either, but in terms of being his own human being, he's still fully collected to himself. Or, no, I don't know how to describe it. He seems complete as a human being, it's just his morals I have a problem with.
Yeah.
I don't like what he did to Apple.
Yeah, he made Apple especially in the more recent years, he's made Apple extremely political.
Yes.
I don't
Not
just
as
think it's
political
the
as Meta
politics,
or
but
Google, but still pretty political.
It's not just the politics, it's also just Scott Forstall really should have stayed in charge of design. You know, even though, yes, iOS has evolved, Scott Forstall was one of the last people at Apple that really carried Steve's vision. And Scott Forstall was his own designer. You know, it's not like they were just trying to do what Steve wanted. Scott Forstall was... I think Scott Forstall and Steve were pretty good friends. Just seeing how their designs went. Scott Forstall should have been the CEO of Apple instead of Tim Cook.
I wonder... Hold up, I have an idea.
I don't know what Scott
And
Forstall's
hold up.
doing now, though.
My idea... I actually looked that up recently, and Scott Forstall... He seems to be working... I think he's working at smaller companies now, but hold up. I wonder if Apple, if they go under again, if maybe Scott Forstall will be the man to save Apple this time.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure if he'd want to come back, though, after the whole scrutiny with Apple Maps and the apology thing. And I still think he should have signed that apology.
He should have.
I don't think he necessarily had to, because because he was just going to fix it with future updates, and I've been, and I don't, and I'm, and I don't like to, and I don't like to sign apology letters for things when I get mad because my own product doesn't work. It's very don't you think that could have been hard for Scott Forstall to sign that apology letter?
Yeah, but when it comes
Yes,
to
it's job
sending
on the
people when it comes to bringing people towards sending people to the wrong destination, it can actually put people in harm's way if you don't take them to the right place. I've known of instances where navigation apps, be it Apple Maps in the early days, or even Google Maps still has this fundamental problem. It will take you to places that are dangerous and you should not be traversing through. And as a result, people have lost their lives because of it. In fact, if I recall, something that happened with Apple Maps is I believe it did result in somebody ending up in a dangerous position and getting seriously hurt, if not killed.
Oh, it led people directly into... Yes, it led people directly into water, so that way it led people directly into water when they got...
At that point, you're just doing serious public harm. And at that point, I think an apology is deserved. And these people didn't get one.
Apology... He must have felt... I'm not going to say that he was right. That's not signing the apology letter was wrong. Was the necessarily the right thing to do, but I understand that Scott Forstall I can understand that he wouldn't have liked. What am I trying to say? I can understand that he felt ashamed of it, and so he didn't really want to talk about it.
At that point, I'd just say, man up and put your pride aside. You screwed up, you hurt people, you now need to take responsibility for that. And from what I see, he did not do that. He was too prideful of himself to the point where, no, he's not going to sign that apology letter. That speaks volume. So that's why I'm not really for the idea of him coming back, because of this is how he handled a bad situation. What happens if he messes something completely... What happens if he does something really bad as Apple CEO that results in someone else getting hurt again?
He'd been working with Steve Jobs initially at Next since 1992, so given that it was one mistake over 30 years, then it'd be highly unlikely.
30 years. 1992
Or
to
20.
2012 is not... It's 10 years.
20.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, there's my thoughts on the
20
matter.
years.
But, no, I don't think Scott Forstall will be a good CEO.
But anywho, getting back, do you think that Johnny Ive should come back to Apple as CEO?
No.
Not as CEO, but as designer. I miss his designs so much.
Well, actually, yeah, Johnny Ive. I was confusing the new software guy with this... Whoever this new software guy is, I have a problem with him. Johnny Ive, he designed the iMac G4. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that speaks.
Yeah, he designed... Yeah, or if Tony Fadell came to Apple as CEO, that'd be really awesome, because Tony Fadell was the inventor of the iPod.
I'm gonna say this: I don't think any of these old people, from old Apple, would ever be CEO.
I don't think
it's gonna be somebody new.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be up to the
task.
task
With Tim Cook's beliefs.
So, yeah, there's a lot of good people who are in Apple that are gone now. All we can do is just wait and see what the future has in store.
Most likely, it might be Greg Josniak or whatever, Joswiak. Craig Federighi.
That's what I figured.
Craig Federighi 100% would be.
Oh, Craig Federighi would be
on the list.
That I'd like if Craig Federighi came onto board.
He's an amazing presenter, but
this is who I think is most likely: Catherine Adams.
I totally agree.
If you know who that is, because I feel like that would align more with what Apple's going for.
Who? How do you spell her name?
Just Catherine Adams normally.
I have to be honest, I don't know who she is.
Actually, there's a problem with that.
What?
That I see. Oh, what's the notification? I saw. She's 60 years old.
Ooh.
Tim Cook is 63. You see, so the problem with that is I'm not necessarily saying that old people are less capable, but they probably want to hire somebody a lot young.
Craig Federighi has to be like 60.
He's actually a lot younger. He's only in his 50s, but
really?
Yeah, he's got more youth in him. I can tell just by his presenting style.
But because of his white hair, but if she's only 3 years younger than Tim Cook, then she's likely going to retire sometime soon, sometime not too far down the road. And so they probably want to hire somebody younger. And it'd be nice if I could get into Apple at this point, so that way I could be hired. But unfortunately, I don't have a high school diploma, and I'm also 16, and I also don't want to move to California. So.
Yep.
You should apply for the president of the USA.
I'd have to wait until I was turned 35.
Oh no. What about the president of the EU?
I'm pretty sure you have to be from Europe. I'm not an expert in this, but I'm just saying they might not like an American coming onto the board of the EU.
I don't know. It might sound like a good idea, to be honest.
Flip their table around. You'd flip their table around. You'd fix the EU.
Yes, I would. Or let me actually look up. How old do you have to be for president of the EU?
It would also make sense if Jeff Will.I.Ams would be the new CEO of Apple. He's the COO right now.
Or who's Jeff?
Did I?
Williams.
Oh yeah, I guess that's.
I'm sorry, guys. Did I hear that right? Did you say you have to be 18 in order to be the president of the EU?
In order to hold any leadership permissions, yeah. Although in some countries it's 25.
I wonder if the current president right now is an 18 or 19-year-old Android user who hates Apple.
Probably a Twitter kid.
It's exactly what it feels like.
Probably one of those kids off of
she's
Twitter.
60. No, she's 65.
Dang, there's too many old people in this company. We need to get some young blood in here.
Or no, it's the EU. But the head of the EU is 65. But the COO is also 63, which is Tim Cook's age. So maybe I'm starting to see. I'm not trying to be discriminatory, but maybe I'm starting to see why Apple might be getting a little lazy.
I guess we need a whole refresh of the board.
Yes.
Well, anywho, I think we wore that topic out.
All right, our next topic to talk about is that Apple is advertising Final Cut Pro for the iPad now. Like they made a commercial for it.
And
That's stupid.
They're expecting sales to increase when it's still not performing as advertised?
And it's a stupid subscription service too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. In the age when people are starting to not necessarily be as fond of subscription services.
Yeah, that is a subscription totally not worth it. And I mean, I know why Apple's advertising for it. It's probably because it's not doing so well. But if they want it to do well, then just make the product better.
Has anybody
Yes,
even talked about Final Cut for the iPad since May of 2023?
I don't think so.
Or Alpha actually edited it, and Alpha actually, I believe we may have talked about on the show back in June or July.
I made a video
But
discussing
otherwise-
Final Cut in June.
Yeah, so we probably talked about it in June of 2023, but come on, the difference between June 2023 and May 2023 is not that much.
Yeah, the only reason why you have
Yeah.
that discrepancy is because it came out in May. It's a month free trial. 1 month later, everyone cancels it. Nobody cares anymore. That's exactly what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, it's $50 a year. Like no one's gonna. Who on their right mind thought that thinks a subscription service is ideal?
Corporations.
Yes,
They'd probably get more money if they just charged $20 for Final Cut Pro on the iPad, because then people couldn't cancel the subscription after they used it once.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Once you buy some, actually, that's a very solid business idea. As even though it is a higher cost, as even though you might have to sell, it might be tougher to sell higher cost items. If you think about it, if people buy it, they only buy it. You don't have to keep worrying about them buying more. You just have to worry about them buying it once. However, with a subscription, then you have to worry about them renewing their subscription, which is the exact reason why Netflix had a bit of a struggle back in early 2022.
Oh, they're still having a struggle today, by the way.
Financially, the company is.
No, just keeping users on in general, because
Oh.
my family members are constantly on and off with their Netflix subscriptions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Streaming. Yeah, streaming to Hollywood content. I've been saying this for 3 years, and I'll continue saying it. Hollywood content is getting more and more irrelevant every single day.
yeah, at this point, I don't even want to get like a Netflix or a Disney Plus, or the only subscription for content that I need is just YouTube Premium. Other than that, if I want to buy
I don't
a
even-
Hollywood-esque film, be it live action recorded or an animated big production film, I'll just go to iTunes and buy it from there.
Yeah, there's not enough good Hollywood content anymore to bother even caring.
Well, not only that, but also a big problem that's going on right now is a lot of these different subscription services are constantly bouncing the rights towards the content back and forth. It's on this platform at this time, and then a few months later,
Yeah.
it's now on that platform. So then, now you got to sign up for this subscription. It's really now become an annoyance. It was back when it came out, it was miles better than cable. I would gladly take the subscription service over cable any day. But now at the point where we're having issues with streaming services holding the rights towards content, and so that means it's only available at this time of year, or who knows who has it at this point. I don't want to deal with that hassle anymore. If I want the film, I'll just buy it off the iTunes store, and I have my own personal copy.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, the same reason. The reason why this worked for streaming for so many years is back when there was really only Netflix, Hulu, and Prime Video back before. So basically, in 2018 and from 2008 to 2018, all you had was Netflix, Hulu, and Prime Video, and that worked total. And I mean, there was Crackle, but but no one really cared about Crackle. But
I've never even heard of it.
Netflix, Hulu, and Prime Video. That was all there was, and content would not bounce back and forth between platforms constantly.
But now, there's so many people in the streaming service space. We've got Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, Discovery Plus.
Or Discovery Plus is an HBO Max combined to 4 Max.
Oh, see, I can't even keep track of these anymore. Of all these mergers and, new streaming services coming out. It's... At this point now, it's just simpler to just buy the movie again. And yeah, well, everyone's getting rid of their DVD players because, I mean, who uses those anymore except for old movies we have lying around in the house? I just buy them on iTunes. In fact, actually, a lot of movies that you buy today that come in DVD, they will also have a code you can use on the back to redeem it for iTunes or buying it off of Amazon Movies or whatever it is that you use. And that's how actually I'm getting a lot of movies on my Apple TV library. A lot of it is from movies purchased from Walmart. The DVDs are downstairs where we use it with our Blu-ray player down there. And if I ever want to watch it, because I never have access to the TV anymore, I just redeem the code and put it up on my iTunes library and all set to go.
You know what I will say? Back in probably August 2023, I got Disney Plus to watch one movie because it said it had Disney Plus, or it said the movie was on Disney Plus. Guess what the movie was not on?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
So I was like, okay, well, got lied to. Whatever.
Yeah.
I should have just bought it on iTunes.
Yeah. The only reason why I watch Disney Plus is just for 2 shows. Mandalorian, except they haven't renewed a season in how long now? And I'm not even that big on Star Wars, but I don't know. There's something about the Mandalorian I just really like. And then the other show that I know Teddy absolutely hates the idea that I watch it.
The stupid show Bluey.
I love that show so much. It is so good.
Bluey is such a terrible TV show.
And what? I mean, I've never watched it, but for what?
Okay, so let me explain why Bluey is a bad TV show.
Run us down the whole entire list. Everything. Take as much time.
Alright, so number 1, the show... Let me actually think up reasons. Number 1, the show... Number 1, the problem is that as Alpha mentioned, the dad is shown to be pretty clumsy around the house, and so as a result, the show
is doing it to mess with the kids.
Unfortunate trend in Hollywood where it's sexist towards men.
He's goofing around to mess with the kids. That is typical dad stuff. Just so you know, my dad does the exact same thing.
No, it is not. No, it is not typical dad stuff.
Yes, it is. You should see my dad around little kids. He does the same thing.
But
it is very realistic.
But more importantly, the characters on the show, it's just all kind of all a little bit annoying, and I don't know. I just think the show, I get why little kids might like it, but I just think it's a show that's only for little kids. And I know Alpha says that teaches life lessons for everybody and whatnot, but really,
just so you know,
my assumption.
Just so you know, my mom thought the same way at first, but then she started watching a few episodes, and now she loves the show too.
I thought Teddy was gonna say it's stupid because it's a kid's show, and I was gonna be like, okay, should kids just watch South Park and Fox News all day?
No, I don't. No, I only seen one clip of South Park, but it was okay.
It's the funniest TV show you'll ever see. Well, depending on what you view as funny. If you don't get offended easily, it's one of the funniest TV shows.
Yeah, that's my problem. That's why I probably haven't watched it.
Yeah, fuck.
They make fun of everyone too. It's funny.
Yeah,
They
I will
also
never
say some
watch.
stuff that you probably don't want around kids.
Yeah.
Oh, it's rated TVMA, so believe me, I know.
I don't know. I watched it when I was like 9.
Yeah. I mean,
I
Yeah,
found
it
it on
looks like.
accident. I found it on accident. I was like, "Oh, this looks cool," and I watched it. I was like, "What is this?" And I just kept like watching it.
The
I remember
problem is that it
buying
kind of looks
like,
like a kid's show at first, even though it's not.
oh yeah,
And in fact, even in the show's description, they put this cartoon is not made for children because it
yeah.
revolves around children, like you. All right. So meanwhile, getting back on topic, the Arc web browser is now available on Windows to take
What?
on Chrome and Microsoft Edge.
I don't even know what web browser that is.
So Arc is a web browser created by the browser company that was initially only available on Mac OS, but it has since come to Windows to take on Chrome and Edge and Firefox and Brave and everything else.
Yeah, I'm still going to use Safari and Firefox.
Yeah, I'll still use Safari and Chrome.
You know, kind of somewhat unrelated. I was looking at the new Dell XPSs like yesterday. They have a button for Windows Copilot on them.
Yes. Did you hear that Logitech
Yes,
is
that's
also
standard
coming
on
out with a
Windows
mouse that
keyboards
has a
now.
Copilot button on it or something?
Copilot
Yes, I
is
heard.
stupid,
We discovered
useless. Copilot will never take off. It's going to be a useless button on the keyboard in a
It'll
year.
be just like Cortana.
Mark my words. Yeah, because that's another one of Microsoft's failed endeavors. Because Microsoft cannot make AI services.
No, they can't.
Yeah,
No,
Microsoft is not a pioneering tech company. I mean, they literally bootlegged MS DOS from CPM.
I could be wrong about this. That's just what I think, because name me one Microsoft AI that has been successful.
Well, there's
And don't say
Grand total
Clippy,
of zero?
because Clippy was...
grand total of 0.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let me Clippy. That's the Clippy. Let's see. Tay.
Oh,
Ooh.
gosh! So, once upon a time, Microsoft put up an AI Twitter account under Tay, and it was basically an AI that anyone on Twitter could talk to. And it got taken down in less than 24 hours because she was literally trying to start a race war.
Oh, I remember.
Yes.
Oh, that was a disaster.
I was only 7 or 8 when that happened, so I didn't remember it happening when it first occurred. But I later found out about that when I watched Mr. Who's the Boss's retrospective on it back in 2021, and yeah, I'm glad that Tay is gone.
Oh, gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
Of course
that
it
was
was a
an AI
Microsoft
disaster.
product.
What's that, from the Windows 8 era? Early
No,
Windows 10?
it was from 2016, Windows 10.
Wow.
Yeah, complete
All
total
right.
disaster.
Speaking of stupid hardware, we need to talk about the Rabbit R1 shipping.
It's still not good. I mean, I'll give it one thing. There is one pro to it over the AI pen. $200, not a subscription. That's it.
Yeah.
That is the
But there's
only
also
good thing about
something else controversial. There's also something else that the Rabbit R1 has about it that that might have the possibility of killing the product.
it. What? It sucks.
Oh no, it does suck, but the other part, which is that you know how it claimed to run a special AI operating system?
It doesn't.
Yes, there's an engineer over at Android Authority managed to get the Rabbit R1 software literally running on a Pixel 6 Pro, I believe.
One of these.
Yeah. So I can't find the APK file. I couldn't find it online, so I couldn't run it on my S10 Plus. But as soon as if that APK ever goes public, then you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and then a big problem with this thing in particular, and this is a better example because it shows it even better than the Humane AI pin. The whole philosophy with building these devices is, how do we build a phone without building a phone?
Yes.
It's my same problem with Android. How do we build an iPhone without building an iPhone?
Or it's the same problem with Windows. With Windows nowadays? How do we build an operating system
without building an operating
without making Mac OS?
No,
Microsoft seems to answer that via AI.
No, I'd say they're more along the lines of, how do we build an operating system without building an operating system?
That's even better.
Gosh, it is too easy. It is too easy to bash them. It is too easy. But yeah, I think that's the main problem with the Humane AI pin from a concept level. It's trying to be a phone without being a phone. And if that's the case, then it's just automatically going to suck.
You can't try to be something that you're not. It doesn't work.
It's like the iPad's trying to be a laptop. It's not a laptop. It's never going to be.
And we know it sucks at being a laptop.
Even if you pair it with the Magic Keyboard and trackpad
Or
mouse or connect it to a secondary display, nope. It's not going to replace your laptop.
I mean, it can if you run Mac OS on it, though at that point you literally have a laptop.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to suck at being a laptop because now, because of Apple Silicon, it will now have a shorter battery life. It has one port that you can use, and if you're charging it, well, goodbye, port. So, yeah, there's a lot of limitations with the iPad hardware compared to a laptop. And that's why I keep telling people, stop trying to turn it into a laptop. It's not supposed to be one. So, I mean, I've spoken my piece about that.
All right.
That is the main issue with these AI pin devices and pretty much any device that comes out that is, oh, it's the phone reimagined. No, it's not. It's just a worse version of what we already have.
All right. Well, our next topic is, I guess, Shaw, do you have anything more to say about this, or shall we move on to the next topic?
I've got no more opinions.
I think that the entire concept of the AI pin is kind of stupid. I don't think there's room for another device. If you really want to make something like that, just make it a watch. That's the only way this is going to work out.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Because there's Apple Watch could be this. Hopefully it won't turn into that. But you know, one thing that I said, the original Apple Watch, if you watch Snazzy Lab's review, he stated he thinks the best way to get around the original Apple Watch was using Siri. What's the difference between one of these AI pins and an Apple Watch with Siri? There is none.
Nothing.
Well, I'd say there is one difference.
AI.
There is one difference. The information you ask is now less accurate.
Yeah.
Which is
But also,
so ironic.
Yeah, you gotta realize, Siri is AI. At the end of the day, that's all Siri is, AI.
Yeah, pretty much. Taking in.
So why have something that? Why have something you can only do AI on when you can have a watch that can do so much more? You know, I barely use Siri on my watch just because it's kind of slow and unresponsive. But I don't really.
Yeah, I don't use Siri. I barely use Siri on anything.
Yeah, but I think we should get off this topic. I really don't want to hear anything more about AI and.
We don't have to worry about AI because we're moving on to Alpha's favorite company now.
I have a lot.
Facebook.
Yeah, Meta. This is the one.
All right, so Meta's OS that their virtual reality headsets are running that run on are
Android.
being worked on, huh?
They run
Well,
Android. Modified Android.
Meta's special build of it, they are going to they're opening it up for other VR headset manufacturers.
Alright, so they're opening up basically one UI. Whatever.
They're basically
Yeah.
opening up their enhanced software.
Yeah.
Or did I say?
You
I
should
meant to
probably
say
say
tracking.
enhanced tracking.
Yeah, enhanced tracking.
Yeah.
Crap, I'm gonna have to censor that again.
Yeah, you're not allowed to mention that on YouTube.
Yes, I
Alpha.
can't say that on YouTube. Screw you, YouTube.
Hold on, what did you say? I missed it.
I said instead of tracking.
But I think I know why they're opening up the OS. They might be worried
So do
about being
I.
called a monopoly by the EU, so they're probably doing whatever measures.
What? Them worried
Gee,
about being
that's 'cause-
monopoly? It's not like they haven't bought in literally the majority of their competition in the social media space.
Yeah, and in the instant messaging space, I mean, what? Meta being a monopoly. And if anything, that proves that Meta is more of a monopoly because they're holding over to more of the VR operating system space. Yeah. But I think the main reason why Meta did this is because they want to create basically the big competitor to Vision OS, even though they'll eventually have to realize that VR is not our future.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had VR technology for how long now? And where has it really gone? I mean, we finally had Vision Pro come out that made a massive difference. But ultimately, in terms of use case, I don't know about you, but I don't see a reason to buy a VR headset.
Yeah. A lot of people
good for
are
gaming, but
complaining.
that's about it.
A lot of tech reviewers say that the main problem with VR, like I watched Brian Langston's follow-up video, one of his follow-up videos about the Vision Pro, and his biggest complaint was that he just didn't find it convenient enough to bother using.
Yeah.
And I agree, like an iPad is way more convenient than a Vision Pro.
I don't know. I feel like we should go on to the next topic. We've ran VR, AI, Vision Pro.
Oh, we don't
that
have to.
around.
Yeah.
All right, our next topic is that Qualcomm claims that their new computer chips are faster than the M3 in multi-core performance, but the real numbers show that they're less than 50% faster.
Who would have guessed?
So Qualcomm's basically
That's-
lying.
Qualcomm has been
about how good their silicon is.
It drives me nuts when it comes to Qualcomm's advertising, especially towards shareholders. They always say that they've got something in the works that, from what they've tested, appears to be more powerful than Apple's silicon. They've been saying stuff like this for years. They finally have a chip that's more powerful than what Apple's offering. Except every single time, it's not the case.
Yes, the more you say something, the more meaningless it becomes.
They're just lying through their teeth. This is false advertising. In fact, I'm surprised they're not getting sued over this because I don't know about you, but I think that is along the lines of false advertising.
Yes, maybe the EU should bother Qualcomm for that.
I wonder why their shareholders haven't held them accountable for it. Maybe it's just because they want to see somebody other than Apple succeed. But I don't know. It's just... I'm
Yeah,
so
the
sick of
EU
this
seems
company
to be very
lying.
passionate about helping Apple fail.
Yeah, I'm so sick of them lying. They basically hold... I'm not saying monopoly. I'm saying they're holding a large... They hold a large market share when it comes to mobile or ARM silicon. I don't know if Apple's is larger, but I have a feeling Qualcomm's would be larger because technically more Android smartphones are produced every year than there are iPhones. It's just iPhones are always the best selling. And Qualcomm holds the majority of smartphone CPUs in terms of that market. Something tells me when it comes to ARM laptops for the PC side, they're going to hold the majority of the market share in that, because when you look at current ARM laptops right now, Microsoft's using their chips. I believe Samsung modifies the Qualcomm chips. Just
Yeah, whatever it is.
yeah,
It's
yeah. My
yeah.
main takeaway: I'm sick of them lying. They've been doing this for years. This is nothing new. They've been lying for years.
All right, I guess we shall move on to our next topic, which is about something completely new.
Oh, I actually came close to breaking one of my rules about filming because of this.
What rule?
This is a drum roll.
Not really. I wouldn't use a drum roll. I'd use taps. We need taps. I need to find a
There you go.
copyright-free version of taps. I think it's copyright-free. I don't know. It's that trumpet.
There we go. Tesla
Yeah.
has fired their entire charging crew. And more specifically, Elon Musk has tweeted, posted to X.
Or tweeted.
Hang on, Tim Cook is trending on Twitter. Oh, it's just about Apple's stock, okay. Let me get back on to X here. Elon Musk. Tesla still plans to grow the supercharger network just as a slower pace for new locations and more focus on 100% uptime and expansion of existing locations. Okay. Alpha may go on a long ramble now.
For one, I have a feeling that statement is bogus, because in order to continue to doing what he's saying, you need at least somebody, at least one person minimum to do it. But no, there's nobody left in that department. So I don't know how they're going to continue developing superchargers and getting them in the ground and expanding locations.
Unless he's hiring new people.
He's stated that I don't know if he's going to do that. And after this whole mass layoff thing, why would you want to work for him then, if evidently your presence at this company is meaningless and you can just be just like that?
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk is known for doing mass layoffs, isn't he? As granted, I'm not saying that Twitter's staff had most of Twitter's staff before he bought it had a legitimate purpose for being there, but I think 75 to 80% of Twitter's staff got cut once Elon took the throne.
Yeah, I know mass layoffs are not new for him. I mean, how many years ago was it he fired everyone in the marketing department? The media and marketing PR. He openly brags about it, by the way. And actually, I think it was a good move, because for the most part, the consumers actually took over that role. And at this point, having a PR department is kind of redundant. Tesla does not need to advertise. They've never had an issue advertising. So because of that, they don't need a PR department. But unfortunately, this case, it's not the case this time. They need their charging team. And I am so mad and upset that he fired them all.
Yeah, because the difference is that unlike with consumers who can spread the word and market Tesla for the company, unfortunately, what am I trying to say? Unfortunately, regular consumers can't just maintain charging networks.
So, I've done a little more
More
research.
importantly, this is during the next transition.
Yeah, that is...
Like, this is during the most crucial time.
I've got more updates on
During
that.
the most crucial
I've got more updates on that. So, at this point, I
What
guess this
are
is where I
they?
go into my long ramble. So, again, Tabby was asking what rule was I about to break. I need to be in a mentally healthy state in order to film. I was not, and I came this close to actually uploading a video with me completely depressed. It's like 50 minutes long, something like that. I didn't even edit it. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there, but it wasn't positive, it wasn't researched, and I was mentally depressed because of it. I'm glad that I realized, nope, you stick to your rules. You have them for a reason. And so, I still haven't completely recovered, but at this point, I have more information, and I've gotten over the shock factor of it at this point. I mean, not completely, but I've gotten over the majority of it. But at this point, let me dive into some things that we do know. So, in terms of supercharging, the entire team isn't completely gone. Tesla still has their maintenance people. They haven't fired any of their maintenance teams. So in terms of supercharger reliability, to my knowledge, assuming that
I'll be right
now
back.
they're
I gotta
not...
answer a call.
Yep, okay. To my knowledge...
Keep going.
Yep. To my knowledge, as long as anyone on the maintenance team doesn't get the idea, well, if nobody was that valuable in the charging department, why should I be here? If they think as long as they think they can still stay, I don't think reliability is going to go down that much. Because Tesla is famous for their maintenance teams, and they are amazing at keeping superchargers up and running. And to my knowledge, those maintenance teams are still here. Not a single person has been fired. That's what I know about that regard. So, supercharger reliability, I don't think is going to go down. At least in the short term. But in terms of a few other things, because there was so much that the supercharging team was working on, expanding to new locations. I'm wondering if Elon is thinking right now, it's not a good time to actually expand because we've got some other things to work on. Then again, why did he fire the whole entire team? I don't know. But the best reason why I'm thinking he's scaling back is because the supercharger network really does need to adapt. It's pretty much only optimized for Tesla vehicles at this point. It does not support 1,000-volt vehicles, and so it causes a massive problem for Lucid, Porsche, Hyundai's EGMP platform, GM's Ultium platform that is capable of switching to 800 class mode. So, yeah, as a result, the supercharger network needs to be readapted because now the demand and the tasks it needs to perform is different compared to a decade ago. So I think it makes sense to stop expanding locations, and from what I'm hearing, I think what he's going to start doing is ripping out old V2 sites and putting in, well, if I had to guess, they're probably still going to be V3s because we still haven't seen V4 yet, but something along the lines of version 3 and version 4.
That would be fair. That makes a ton of sense.
That is good because as of right now, there's not a complete corridor network for non-Teslas to travel on the supercharger network across. If you go across I-80, once you hit Nebraska, you're going to start having issues. Any highway north of that, like I-90, I-94 actually is full of V3s. I-90 is nothing but V2s.
Oh,
So-
that's going to be a small problem for this summer.
So yeah, as a result, any non-Tesla, in order for a non-Tesla to charge on the supercharger network, it has to be on a V3 station, and it's because V2 sites do not have the hardware to speak to non-Tesla vehicles. V3s do.
Uh,
So that's why I think they're scaling back in terms of bringing on new sites and upgrading slash retrofitting version 2s and upgrading those to version 3s. I think that is a good move, especially if they're trying to build a corridor network for non-Tesla vehicles. I also heard that he's thinking of actually just adding more chargers at existing sites, which in the big cities is especially needed. So there are some good things that he's stating that he wants to do. But again, in order to do any of these, why did he fire the entire department? Because in order to bring on new sites, and not just bringing on new sites, even upgrading existing ones, they need to communicate to utilities, to governments, because they need government grants. Property owners, they need to communicate with people in order to make these upgrades and bring these new site locations online. But there's nobody at the department for any of these people to call. And that's what I'm hearing online. A lot of people who work in either at utilities or whatever's necessary to bring these sites online, they don't know how to do any of this anymore because they've literally lost all of their contacts. They've tried calling everyone they knew who worked for Tesla, and they're like, sorry, I don't work for them anymore. I've been fired. I've been laid off. So that is the major caveat to this whole thing that I'm still trying to understand. And a couple...
Maybe there's some internal reason that we don't know.
I mean, I get it. There's a lot of big companies that are doing mass layoffs right now. And I know you hate it when I say this. The economy right now is in a bad state.
Don't say it!
I just did. Okay.
I told you not to say it.
It's true, though. You can't deny the truth. You can lie about it all you want. But when you're seeing big companies, be it from Apple, be it from Tesla, making layoffs like these, it's... something's wrong. Something is wrong. And honestly, I think that it has... I don't think it's the biggest reason as to why Elon decided to make that decision, but I think it had a slight impact. But anywho, other things that I should bring up that I know about this. In terms of the NACS transition, because I know we've all been interested in that. As of right now, I know that some automakers are still committed to transitioning to NACS. Like GM, for example, they've stated they are still committed. However, I hate to say this, but I've heard rumors that one European company, if I had to guess, it's Volkswagen Group, they're thinking of reverting back to this. I'm holding CCS1,
Porsche
by the way.
Taycan was my dream. The Taycan was my dream car. However, if it's not,
It's not confirmed. All the rumor had mentioned was they were putting it on the table just to be discussed. Is it worth it? Now, personally, I don't think it is, because at this point, all the other charging hardware manufacturers have NACS cables in the works. So it's not just Tesla. There's other hardware manufacturers that already plan on integrating NACS, by the way. EA, to my knowledge, is still committed to doing it, along with every other third-party charging network. So because of that, I wouldn't say don't just revert to this just yet, because there's even currently third-party charging stations out there right now that have NACS. So, but yeah, that is the ultimate thing that I was not pleased to hear. There is a European company. I don't know who... I can't confirm who it is. I'm only guessing it's Porsche because they've been... Well, Porsche, Volkswagen Group in general. I'm only guessing it's them because They were like one of the last people to switch. One of them has put on the table the potential of switching back to this terrible, clunky to use, less capable, unsafe design. This is bad. This is really bad because for once we all had basically agreed that this is the single best charging connector out there, at least for the US market. Type 2 is slightly different, but I'm not going to get into that. This is what we should be using here in North America from day one. So, and the reason why all these...
why I think...
The reason why all these other automotive companies are thinking of potentially switching back is because, once again, they were in communication with Tesla trying to get NACS integrated into their vehicles, but now those contacts are gone.
However, here's my theory. Here's my theory on why Tesla might have done this. Tesla might have fired their entire charging crew, and why the European company might be pulling out. And my theory is simpler than Alpha's, which is that maybe because EV sales are down, maybe Tesla doesn't feel quite as confident about EVs anymore.
Oh, I doubt that. I strongly doubt that. Because if that were the case, then they're basically going to go bankrupt. Because Tesla has always been an EV company. They have never, ever produced a single gas vehicle.
However, the Volkswagen Group, or whatever European company does that, is thinking of reverting next. Maybe they don't think, whether that be BMW, Mercedes, Volvo, or the Volkswagen Group, maybe they don't think that it's... or Jaguar, maybe they don't think that EVs are selling too well right now, so they don't think it's worth it.
I know that EV sales are down, but there are two main reasons as of why they're down. For one, again, that reason you hate it when I mention.
The economy.
Yep, that's one. That's from a consumer standpoint mostly. And it's just because it is not a good idea to take out a loan right now because interest rates are just so high.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one reason. The other is just because our charging infrastructure here in the United States is hot trash unless you drive a Tesla vehicle.
EVs also get such bad publicity.
What's going
on? We're just talking about the possible... There's a European automaker that's rumored to consider pulling out of the NACS transition.
Which one?
I have a feeling it's your favorite. It's not confirmed, but I have a feeling it's your favorite.
I think it's Porsche.
Yeah.
I think it's Porsche.
Same here.
I think the fast charging, those Electrify America fast chargers, I think they don't want to get rid of that. I said that from the start.
Volkswagen owns Electrify America too, mind you.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Electrify America was committed to putting NACS cables on their chargers. So, yeah, there's that. But
what kind of power through does NACS have? Can it do, this crazy fast charging, or is the port just not capable of it?
Oh, no! Actually, NACS is capable of double the power than CCS. Like, I kid you not. This tiny connector right here, the Tesla one, the NACS cable right here, is capable of double the power than this big clunky thing.
Yeah, I did notice that the Tesla connector is extremely small. But, yeah, it is what it is. I feel like, I hate to say it, the Taycan is the only EV from any Volkswagen Group manufacturer that I would care about. And I'll be honest when I say this, the e-tron gets me excited for nothing. Because the way I view Audi as the performance version of something like Volkswagen. And yes, Porsche has some amazing performance cars. But with that said, Porsche doesn't have something like the RS6 Avant where it's a family wagon that can do crazy lap times. Porsche doesn't have something like, the SQ5. Well, I guess you have the Macan S, but the SQ5, the Q5E, those cars are just, they have so much power for what they are. The Q5E, I've done launch control from some lights, and I've gotten out and I've been like, this thing is quick. Because that thing just goes quick when it wants to. When it doesn't want to, I don't know why. Sometimes it doesn't want to go quick, but when it wants to go quick, that thing's
Battery
quick.
temperature, that's gotta
But
be why.
it's even the engine too. It's weird. I don't know. But the Taycan is, I've said it before, one of the only EVs I would want to drive because, it's just crazy. You get the performance design or the Porsche design, the Porsche interior, all that stuff that I've really enjoyed about Porsche cars for the past, few years. But you also just get that crazy torque and the two gear. What is it? The two gear thing? I'm not.
It has
really big EV.
it has a 2-speed transmission.
Yeah.
Though from what I
It's
hear,
just-
they've actually axed that in the refresh.
That sucks.
But they say though that actually they didn't like the way it shifted. They didn't like the way it performed. So that's why they got rid of it. They said they didn't like the way it performed. Which
I
actually
guess.
most Taycan
But-
owners had to agree. So
I didn't get up to speeds high enough to really notice that. And honestly, I'm if I did notice that, that means I would be going way too quick for city roads.
yeah.
Yeah, but 70, but in most states, at least in the eastern United States, 70 miles an hour is the standard, is the highest speed limit on any highway, and by that I mean interstates.
Wait till you get downtown cities.
Besides that. Yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately know that.
I hate the traffic in some of these cities.
Same.
Try here. I get to share the road with college kids who don't know how to drive in snow and ice.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows the concept
um,
of traction control off in the winter.
Yeah, what I was saying is Taycan, one of the only EVs I would really want to drive over an engine car or an ICE car, ICE.
Yeah.
It's just, I've been in those. I've done, small trips in those. They're so nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, hopefully I will get my hands on a Taycan, though. It'll take a little bit.
And I've heard there's some pretty good leasing deals on them.
Well, here the used market for them is doing pretty well too.
I don't do leasing deals. But even so, it's gonna take a while before I make enough money to. It'll take a while, but it'll take a while before I can get enough money to buy a Taycan.
Doesn't it take?
So I guess that's a good goal. I guess that's a good goal to have in life.
Yeah, I want to get an RS6 Avant. I have been looking at an RS6 though. Of course, it's not going to be a new one. It's going to be like 20 years old, but I really just don't want to go to a couple states over to get, sight unseen. I don't really trust that, especially when it's a 2003 RS6. But yeah, what I was saying, doesn't the Taycan have 2 charge ports?
Yeah, they have one that's actually AC only, and then the other side also has DC capabilities.
That's cool.
That really is cool.
So yeah,
What topic were we on while I was on the phone?
We were talking about how Tesla fired their entire charging crew, though we basically wore that topic out.
I'm
so
not done yet, though.
Do you guys want to move on?
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
I got interrupted. So, there's one segment left that I have to say about this. And I think this is the ultimate reason why Elon has done such a crazy, rash decision like this. He wants to switch the entire focus of Tesla away from being an energy company to an autonomy company. He is so
That would.
he is so gung ho.
Oh my! That would make perfect sense if it. You know, AI, oh my, robo-taxis do not, robo-taxis, well, that would make sense because Project Highland was released first in Europe and the Middle East where public transportation is a lot more prevalent, but here in the United States where Tesla is headquartered, unless you're in New York City, then no. Then public transportation is no bueno because American culture is not flexible with public transportation and more. And I agree with that. I like owning. Well, I don't technically own a car, but I like having my own car that I can.
You'll see all these Europeans say, oh, America needs to fix that. Look, I'm sorry if this offends anyone. I just like driving my car.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to be.
I'm not saying that
sitting in someone else's car. I just want to be, able to be in control. Because what happens if one of these things loses cellular connection? That's not just it. There's other things. What happens if something happens and it goes over poorly, and you end up getting killed by one of these things?
Yeah,
Now, there's one thing I will say. The one good point that I have onto these, it will get a lot of idiots off the road. But with that said, if these things aren't programmed properly, they can be pretty bad. Imagine parking on the side of the road, which I don't like doing it on the first place because it's so easy to get your car hit by that.
Oh, yeah.
And one of these things doesn't read the road lines properly, and it taps the back of your car, and then just drives off. You're going to be left like, dude, come on. And who's going to be charged with a hit and run? Nobody. Who's going to pay you your money? Highly doubt that, because I highly doubt you're even going to get paid. Seeing as these things probably don't have any responsibility to pay anybody back. It's pretty much the equivalent. It's pretty much the equivalent of, running a Roomba outside and having it run over your cat or something. Is the Roomba going to be at fault? The owner of the Roomba? Because the owner of the thing is, who owns these? Nobody's going to really own these things. Elon Musk, like hell I could get him to pay anything for damaged property. I have a feeling that guy would really not like to pay for
he's gonna cover legal stuff like that, but yeah, there's so many reasons why I don't think this whole robo-taxi thing is going to work out the way he think it does. Like the number one thing that Tesla bulls, that's the term. Like we have Apple sheep, Tesla's is Tesla bulls. Tesla bulls claim that once robo-taxis come out, everyone's going to start selling their cars and we're all going to switch to robo-taxis. They are that confident. And little do they understand.
If that's what the case is.
Yeah. Little do they understand that is not how our culture works. And unfortunately, Elon is so gung-ho on this idea of robo-taxis replacing all of our cars that we own today on the road. The thing is, though, I mostly don't have an issue with the robo part, and that's because
I have an issue with the execution.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a sec, but I don't really... My main issue is not in the robo part as why I think this is going to fail. My issue is the taxi part.
Yeah, I guess. I can see that.
Because, to me, hiring a robo-taxi is no different than hiring an Uber or your standard taxi driver.
You're right.
Yeah, it's no different.
The only difference is you're going to be paying off a $60,000 piece of equipment in the form of a Tesla Model. Like, they probably use, like, the 3.
It's mostly Model 3s and Model Ys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm actually surprised I remembered those, but And not even that, you're not paying for the Uber guy's car. Unless the guy's just like really stupid and wants. Well, no. You pay the rate fee, not for the car. You're not going to be paying a rate fee with these people, or with the robo taxis, because the truth is, you're not paying anybody to drive you. You're paying the car.
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much means you're doing no different than paying off, a lease.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference there is, no, there's those self-driver cars. They're not yours. You don't have any say in what happens with them. But that's about what I think of it.
Yeah.
I don't
Because
like the idea.
Like seriously, when's the last time any of you guys called an Uber or a taxi to get from point A to point B?
Only times I've done that was when I was on vacation or in a city that, well, Washington D.C. But it's funny how or how Elon Musk says this is gonna take off when think of it this way. What about the 911 Turbo S owners, the E63 AMG owners?
Yeah, they're not going to sell their
BMW
cars.
M4 owners, Audi RS5, RS6, Lexus IS 300 or whatever it is.
Basically, any car that's associated with performance.
Yeah.
So my dad will not get rid of his car unless he'll trade it for a GTR, which he is thinking about doing.
That would be cool. What is he has an M6, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's the ultimate reason why he probably is doing the firing all the people on the charging department. He's trying to turn Tesla from an energy company into the robo-taxi company, and it's going to fail. And
yeah, it will fail, at least here in the United States. It could work for Europe, but maybe...
I don't think it'll fail. I just think that it's not going to yield the results that
yeah,
and the even more scary part, what if this succeeds? That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is kind of like worrying about what if the metaverse succeeds.
Mm-hmm.
Remember back when we had to worry about that, but it turns out it didn't, so...
Yeah, Elon needs to get himself in check. He's been pulled in so many directions to the point where I think he's out of touch with what the goal should be. Like, he completely... At this point, I don't even think he remembers what Tesla's mission statement is, which isn't something I necessarily agree with, but Tesla's mission statement...
mission statement?
Tesla's mission statement is to transition the world to sustainable energy. How does firing your charging team do that?
It doesn't.
Yeah, whatever they want to do.
So
I've said this before. It's controversial. I'm not a fan of the company. I think some of their stuff is cool, but I'm not a fan of how the company's run.
Yeah, that's totally okay.
If the company was run differently, I would be more on board with them. But as it stands right now, the way that Elon Musk handles certain things, instead of fixing problems, he sits on Twitter, and when he finds a problem on Twitter, like Joe mode, or whatever it's called,
What's Joe mode?
I forgot what it is.
It's
but
supposed to...
some dude named Joe.
It's if some guy was complaining about how loud the chimes were in the car, so Joe mode is basically supposed to quiet it down.
Instead of just naming it like something that you'd actually be able to understand, they just name it something stupid. That's kind of... I understand it like makes it a little bit more fun, but for the people who just want to have their car be a car, it doesn't make sense. There should be an option in the OS to just be straightforward.
Yes, I totally agree. I do have a theory on how Tesla's robotaxi may succeed, and I don't agree with this theory, but this is a theory that So I hate to admit this, but a lot of people, especially younger people, don't enjoy driving like they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're in one set where we actually do enjoy driving, whether it's in an Audi plug-in hybrid or Buick luxury comfort focus sedan. Yeah, I know that's the cars we drive. Everyone, we still enjoy
Or
driving.
or a Mercedes.
Yeah, or compared to our vehicles, a relatively
S
old
or
Mercedes.
C300.
But the
I
difference,
think I'm
but the
gonna
diff,
have I think I'm gonna have the oldest one here in the coming year, depending on how much I make.
Well, yeah, we enjoy driving. It's something that we've been waiting for our license for years to do. We wanted to drive cars.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
know,
like
it's
driving. Yeah, having a driver's license. I don't even want to get. I don't go that many places, but I don't go that many places. But even when I do, it's so But even if I need to, like if something comes up suddenly, it's so nice to have a driver's license just to be able to go, just to be able to go places. Like for example, I can now have. I can like for right without my grandmother having. My grandmother used to have to come pick me up every time I wanted to come see. Every time I went to her house, but now I can just drive straight to her house and back.
yeah.
That's very convenient on my part, and more importantly, just for other basic stuff too. Like if there's ever, like because, like if
You
there's
just want to like
ever,
go get a bag of chips or something, I guess. I don't know if
yeah,
you,
I don't eat
you
chips,
know,
but still, if I want to go get,
yeah.
or even better than yet, what if I need to go want to go wash my car? I can just drive my car to the car wash and wash it. Or let's say I'm an adult and my parents aren't don't can't tell me what to do. And let's say I want to drive to Atlanta. I
Or a
could
strip
drive to
club.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
that's my case. I want to go to North Carolina. I don't need to ask anyone. I just need money.
Yeah. Yeah, you just need money in order to travel, and it's a very convenient feeling. But a lot of younger people, especially, just don't understand the joy of driving, and I think it's in part because teen driving, it's definitely very discouraged.
Here's the thing, and I'll say this right now. They make it seem like you do the smallest thing, you go 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, you're dying. And
I don't.
I'm not encouraging doing stupid stuff. But all I'm saying, just open your car up in a legal way. Don't be reckless, and you'll have a lot more fun. Learn how to do
Yes,
sport mode, launches.
I do
Time your
sport mode.
0 to
I
40.
always drive my car in sport mode, and I do,
I used to,
and when
then I
I turn
realized how bad the gas mileage was.
Yep.
and I go into sport. I go into sport mode on my car. Whenever I turn onto one of the highways, I need to get to my grandmother's house. I love one of my favorite things to do in my car. I know it's not exactly great for the engine, which is why I need to be a little more careful. But I well, except for one time when scenario where I can't be getting back on topic. I love accelerating as fast as I can to 55 miles an hour. I love doing
Exactly.
that. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it's about. But then you got these people, saying, these idiots getting mad. You shouldn't be doing that. You this and that. If you're smart about it, you're fine.
Yes,
You know,
like I
I
actually
Everything's easy if you know what you're doing.
like
yeah,
if I
and I'll
pull
say
like when I pull out into it like I'm pulling out onto a major onto when I'm pulling out from a street and local street in my grandmother's neighborhood onto a major highway, I have no choice but to accelerate, do a hard acceleration in order to get through because there's no stoplight.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I basically am forced to have fun, but it doesn't feel like it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like I'm being forced.
Yeah, well, I
And
think
it's
I have a
also
theory as to
like,
why all these teens are afraid of driving. I don't think it's they're afraid of driving. What I think they're actually afraid
afraid of the
of,
consequences, I think.
no, I think they're afraid of traffic.
Yeah.
Could be.
They're afraid of dealing with other people because, sure, sometimes we take a drive into town. It's very uneventful. It's very boring because everybody's following traffic. It's when somebody doesn't follow traffic, doesn't go with the flow of traffic. That's when people start to get nervous. And this is my issue when I drove through St. Paul that one time. People did not go. I thought the speed limit posted was 60 or 65. I don't remember the exact speed limit, but somewhere around there. And because people were not going that, I did not know how to handle myself while driving through St. Paul traffic. And the best I could do was just watch the cars around me. Oh, we were going like 80 miles an hour down the highway in St. Paul.
Oh, yeah, that is... When that happens, that is... Yeah. We have an issue
In some
here.
states, you can lose your... In most states, you can lose your license if cops catch you.
But that's the problem.
There's
the
always stuff
entire flow
in
of
the
traffic
core
was going 80 miles an hour in the 60 mile an hour zone.
Yes, exactly. Like that.
And it's not safe
I
to
don't
drive 20 miles slower than everyone else on the highway like that. It's not safe to do that.
It's not.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think
I've heard of
I think
people
the federal
getting
standard
pulled
for
over for doing the speed limit despite traffic going 80 miles an hour. That is real.
I think
Yeah.
they should just make the speed limit on most interstates 80, honestly. I think that should just be the standard.
So
You know, I will say this.
that's what people are afraid of. It's traffic, not driving. They're not afraid of driving. They're afraid of traffic. Because when traffic gets hairy,
I'll also say
that's
this,
when you
on
can
that.
potentially be in danger.
One time, I didn't follow this flow of traffic, though. I wasn't risking that. I was in the right lane because the left lane had to be going, I would assume, every bit of 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's
In a
crazy.
55.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, no, I'm not risking that.
Yeah.
Screw that. But you know, the even bigger thing, people that go like 20 under, I hate those people.
It's
You can't
dangerous.
get over
Oh, I
because
do.
It is so dangerous
Those
to go
people-
slower than that.
I have no regard for them. I will go around them as violently as I can, you know, legally, because I don't care how much disrespect I put on those guys. They are risking people's lives.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
they are.
not only are they at risk of being plowed into by somebody with bad brakes going around a corner, but they're also, you know, risking people trying to go around them getting, you know, plowed into. Those people, screw them.
Yeah, this is why I say when it
Yes,
comes
exactly.
to following
There's
speed
a
limits,
reason why in
speed limits are there for a reason, but unless traffic begs to differ about following the speed limit, then you go with the flow of traffic. If traffic is going slower than the speed limit collectively, you follow them. Be it sometimes there's an accident that you might not be aware of, or it's just better to go with the flow of traffic. I usually use that as my rule of thumb. It just makes more sense to go with
Yeah,
the
go
flow of
with the
traffic
flow.
than to follow a speed limit sign.
I go with the flow of traffic too. For example, if there's a car and if there's a truck with a trailer attached in front of me, obviously he's going slower, then I know to go slower to keep a safe distance.
Yeah, I mean, it pisses me off so much when people just decide it's a good idea. You know, oh, I'm gonna be safe and I'm gonna go 30 and a 50. If you do that,
No.
if you do that, you're not being safe. You're being more dangerous than anyone else. And I'm gonna
Yes,
say this.
you're right.
And if you're in a position where you have
you
to do
get-
30 and a 50 like that, then get off the interstate.
And also, so here's something that happened to me a few days ago. I was driving a single lane road, and I almost got hit head on by somebody going on the opposite side of the road at what had to be 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So I was going to McDonald's because I wanted a sweet tea. You know, because I like that McDonald's sweet tea. Might not like a lot of other things they have, but I like their sweet tea. So I was going down my road, and all of a sudden, I'm going around a turn, like a curve, and I see a Dodge Durango or whatever coming right towards me. And my buddy's in the car. I'm like, dude, and I'm like screaming profanity because I am, and on the left side, he's trying to pass a bunch of cars going the speed limit. And then on the right side,
Of course.
there's me. And he managed, I slammed the brakes. You know, car starts sliding out a little bit. I take it back in. And he, you know, just narrowly evades hitting me and all the other guys. And I was so pissed off, it's unbelievable. I was if it was if it was a double lane road, I would have followed that guy until the cops got him. He had to be going every bit of 100 miles an hour. That was insane. It was so crazy that the traffic, after that happened, that road, because I turned around, I was gonna go, try and follow the traffic until I find the guy at a stoplight or something. But the flow of traffic went from the speed limit to like half the speed limit after that because everybody was just like, what the hell? And that guy, to the dude with the white Dodge Durango with red stripes wearing a mask inside his car, I think it was just like a ski mask. There's a lot of things I would say.
He's probably running from the
None
cops
of
for
which,
something else, if I had to guess. But
yeah, none of which I can say on YouTube because it would get this channel taken down.
Oh
But there's a
yeah,
lot
he
of
was.
stuff.
Oh yeah, I can see why he might have been running from the cops.
yeah,
I was angry because that guy, man. Another thing that happened, I was going around a turn and the Audi decided to slide out, and I almost went into a guardrail.
No.
Yeah, I was on all electric mode, and I was going around a turn, and all of a sudden I lose traction, and I start sliding out, and I'm like, oh no, because I'm going straight towards the guardrail, and I slam the wheel to the side, I slam the brakes, not doing anything. So I
never
hit the
slam the brakes
accelerator.
like that. Because if there's one thing I know about drifting, you never want to slam the brakes like that when you're already spinning out. It doesn't help.
Yeah, and then I hit the acceleration. I start actually gaining control. There's this traction control on. I need to get new
Yeah,
tires for
this
that
is
thing.
why I tell everyone when driving up here in the winter, shut traction control off. It is literally useless up here.
It's weird because I have those tires where if they lose air pressure, they can run at, 50 miles an hour for whatever, the Pirelli Scorpions. Those things have no traction, nothing in wet weather. And the road was kind of wet because it was raining earlier that day, but I will say that right now, those tires need to
Yeah.
go. Hopefully I'm not going to be driving that car for all that much longer, but
Well, before you get rid
it
of
is
it, could you make a whole dedicated video on it instead of just
I'm
an
not getting
efficient?
rid of it, but since technically it's not my car, I'm just gonna try and get my own car because honestly, I'm kind of tired of being screwed with that thing. You know, every time I get in it, there's more scratches all in the interior and curb rash on the tires, and nobody ever locks it. Always all this garbage in it. I'm like, well, my dad locks it, and I lock it, but apparently, our neighborhood is just fine, even though there's break-ins in other neighborhoods because I live next to what city.
Yep.
But well, I live next to two of those cities.
Yep.
Kinda. A little bit. But yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with just dealing with all that. Just want to get something of my own where I can
Yeah,
have
my
access to both the keys and um yeah. I just want to have access to both the keys, be able to lock it whenever I want, not have to deal with it. Be able to keep there's going to be one thing in my interior, an iPhone cable. I don't want to have any of this random stuff that people put in there. Don't understand why people have to make their cars portable storage units.
Yeah, my dad did that so badly to my car to the point where I had to spend literally an entire morning just almost an entire morning just cleaning out my dad's car. And there was some stuff that I left in there like floss, which I left in there just in case I ever eat food and need to get it out, or else if I ever run out of floss, I need to get some from my car. Then I keep it there. Pens, which if I need to write something down or when I'm on the go, okay. And even a pocket knife, which I'm glad I got out before I went to school, before I start driving to school.
Yeah. Yeah,
And more, and just trash.
I just don't like understand why people put some things in their cars. Like for the entire time that I've been in that Q5, the only two things have been a microfiber cloth for the display. Well, three things technically: a USB-C to Lightning cable and Lightning to USB-C. You know, the little adapter. Because I'm the only person with a USB-C phone
Yeah.
in the house. So when everybody else needs to do CarPlay, because I'm the only one that uses wireless CarPlay, but then again, my phone's battery is, 90% battery health now, and it does not really last amazingly with almost 400
Why?
charge
How did your
cycles.
phone's battery health degrade that badly? My iPhone 14 Pro still has. Let me see. 98% battery health.
My phone is basically my camera. So I can put,
Uh,
one time I think I charged this phone 5 or 6 times in a single day when I was recording for my MacBook Pro
oh.
video. And also, I tend to just run through the battery on like CarPlay and 5G, stuff like that. So I kind of have like no battery life most of the time, and I just try to charge it up as fast. I use fast charging all the time. Charge it up as quick as I can. It drains however much it wants to.
Yeah, that's
Charge
good.
it up
Definitely
again.
going to degrade
That's
performance if you're charging it fast like that all the time.
Yeah. I don't really care though, because I'm probably gonna trade it in this year, maybe next.
Yeah, usually you upgrade like
It's a
every
really
year
nice
or
phone though.
something. So, like
Yeah.
at that point, why worry about
That's
it?
kind of why I don't care. Yeah, because it might be 14% less right now than it was when I got it, but I don't really care.
Mm.
If I didn't use it as a camera, I would be able to end the day at 50%, no problem.
Yeah.
Even in
My
this
10s
capacity.
Max is finally at 80% now.
Yeah, dude, you need to get that thing's battery
Yeah.
replaced.
One of the reasons why I want to go to the Apple Store, it's not just for Vision Pro, checking that out. I'm also going to get the battery swapped in my 10s Max.
I wish you were in my area, because then I could show you my Apple Store and we could, mess around at the mall and stuff.
The
That
thing
would be
is,
cool.
like, I keep
It's
thinking.
just hard for you to get here, you know.
Well, North Carolina, if I could, it's not. It's still like a from where you live. So, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I'm
You just cut it
debating.
out later, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm debating. Should I take a day trip up to where you live just to, I don't know, do a collaboration, get
That would
together,
be
do
cool.
something like that?
I would definitely be down for that.
Yeah. But again, I don't know
Yeah,
how
my
many
pair-
hours of a drive that is, but then again, I don't care. I'm a mile muncher. I have my own method of munching miles.
Yeah.
My parents would definitely. My parents would definitely mind me doing something like that. So I will not. So I will not be doing that.
Yeah, maybe when you're 18, you can reconsider. But
Maybe.
Yeah, I'd be. Yeah, I'm even still leery just in case because I don't know because I don't really know what you guys are like in real life.
the only thing I hide in real life, well, not really hide, I mention it every now and then. For the most part, I'm a CNC machinist and a musician. There's not much else
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is your name.
It
All right,
is
well, we
9.
have-
I gotta get ready to go eat dinner in a minute.
Yeah, we
so-
still have a bunch of topics left to cover, but I mean, it's almost time to go, so I think we should just go ahead and end it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So let's.
That was a successful recording. One of the longer ones that we've done, I'd say.
I
Was
I mean,
2.5
Yeah,
hours.
I
it was a
hate-
really good.
I hate editing these long recordings for obvious reasons, but I love recording them.
I
Yeah,
did
same.
note down one spot that you would have to edit out. I will send that in the group just to make it a little bit easier for you, to deal with that.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what if you give me timestamps just to edit it out. I still listen to the whole. I still go through every single second of the entire thing, just to be sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's why it takes
Yeah.
forever to get these out. It's because I actually do listen to every single second of every conversation we have here. So
Makes sense.
you're welcome, everyone. And my sleep schedule hates me
he's-
even more.
He's our editor. He does a better job than Teddy did, not gonna lie.
I did not do a bad job on editing.
I
No
mean,
comment.
do you remember that echo? Do you remember that echo that we had on like the first? Like,
Yes,
20?
the echo. You could still hear the. Yes, there's. I like how there's no echo now, and I do like the hype clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
but,
time we have hype-worthy
nowadays
clips. I will guarantee you that. We do have hype-worthy clips this time.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess we shall get ready to end the show.
Yeah.
I'd say so. So,
All right. So as always, thank you all for tuning into another episode of the iTunes Family Podcast, or TIFP. As always, I'm Teddy Maggart from the iTunes Fanboy.
Tabby Cat 406.
my name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we are signing out for now, and we will see you in the next episode when maybe I will not be in, depending on when we record. But as always,
You won't be able to talk
thank you
about
all
the
for
Apple
watching,
event?
and peace out.